event of UFC 304.
Yep.
Leon Edwards against Belal Muhammad for the welterweight title. We have a new welterweight champion. Belal Muhammad beat Leon Edwards by unanimous decision. Rob, what were your thoughts?
Mate, like, where do I start? So let me preface with this is how I feel. Okay, I'm going off what I watched yesterday.
Yeah.
So it was just that one viewing. I'm not going to sit here and rewatch the fight 6 times to break it down analytically. This is just off the cuff, me watching it with my eyes. Okay,
Sure.
If you want to see those sort of analytics, it's not me. It's not me. Like you'll get fight IQ from myself after watching it a single time. Okay, now. That's what you get. That's what you paid for. Okay, please sub. but what can I say, man? Because I was surprised. Not surprised. Like, not that Muhammad surprised me. No, you know what? I was surprised. I was surprised because Leon's last 2 showings against Usman and Colby looked vastly different to the Leon that turned up against Muhammad.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what does that mean? Because I don't want to take away Belal just turning up and honestly dominating Leon Edwards. Like he belted him in the stand up. He put that constant pressure, was punching him up, which opened up the double leg. He was doing beautifully. He was beautifully entering into those double legs. Once he had Leon's back to the fence, he'd go under, he'd lock those hands up in that C grip straight away and pull him off the fence and turn him on his head, like over and over and over. His single legs over the rounds, like he switched to singles, were amazing as well. Like, and then he was corralling Leon into that fence positioning. He would only shoot a lot of the time when he saw Leon didn't have any steps back.
Yeah.
You know, he was doing it masterfully. And, you know, I've got to say, like, I don't want to take away how good and effective that was against Leon. And why, but I am wondering why Leon had no answer for it, because we saw him go up against the likes of Usman. We saw him go up against the likes of Colby, and both guys couldn't do that. Was it because Belal is a much bigger welterweight? He looked strong in there, man.
He looked so buff, dude.
He was just pushing forward, and he was demanding respect from Leon.
Yeah, with
his strikes. Even hurt him. Was it in the first or second round where he hurt him with that uppercut? It might have been the first.
I think it was the first. Yeah,
I think it was the first. Yeah, where Leon went for that high guard and Belal got that uppercut. He hurt Leon with the hands, which is why Leon was backing up and Belal was able to go underneath. You know, so I don't want to take away, because it was such a good showing from Belal, but it was such a, like, did Belal shut Leon down that hard that it made Leon look bad, or was it because Leon was off? He said he felt lethargic, whatever, right? But yeah, I don't know which foot to stand on. Like, I will say, and before everyone starts hammering me in the comments, I wasn't really going for either Leon or Belal, right?
Yeah.
But I thought Belal looked sensational. Dude had dog in him. Guy wanted it. Wanted it. He wasn't listening to the booing of the crowd. He wasn't in there. He didn't care if it wasn't pretty. Guy ran it forward. Like, it executed a game plan against a very good guy. Because in our predictions, I mentioned how dangerous Leon Edwards' spacing is and how good he is at controlling that, which shut down a lot of, like, completely shut down Colby last fight. And then Usman to a degree the fight before that.
Yeah.
Belal had no problem with that. Went into the firing range gleefully.
Yeah.
Took shots to land shots and just bullied the hell out of him. And mate, what do you think? Like,
look, I had the same internal conflict as you when I did my immediate reactions. You want to give full credit to Belal, but you also, I think it's okay to at least appreciate, to some extent, without undermining Belal's performance, that Leon seemed a bit off, right? And in part, you have to also contribute Belal's performance towards that, because Belal's constant pressure and his high output meant that Leon couldn't get any kind of offense going, right? He really struggled getting his signature kicks in. His head movement was awful. Like, at times, did you feel the same? Like, Leon was like covering his face like this and just didn't know what to do with Belal constantly peppering him with jabs. I want to say that he was off a little bit, but also Belal's performance was just fantastic in that regard. And then you have to talk about the wrestling. 9 out of 13 takedowns, bro. He kept slamming Leon on his ass, especially that one where he spiked him on his head. I'd be very surprised. Leon was concussed after that. Surely he was, right?
I don't know. I've spiked my head in the mat sometimes.
Yeah,
like in practice, and like it cracks every vertebrae down your back, man.
That was horrible, bro. Surely neck issue. Surely something wrong with his vertebrae now. Surely he was concussed a little bit. Like when Belal had his back, there were times where I thought Leon was asleep, especially in that 5th round. His eyes were like closed, and he was just trying to get out of the situation. I think it's okay, and it's completely fair to say Leon was not at his best, but Belal was also at his best, and he took advantage of it, and he did exactly what he needed to do to win the fight. He completely dominated and outclassed Leon Edwards, 100%.
Can I say something? Right? Now, I think, obviously, who shows up on the night is a lot. Like, weighs very heavily in who wins that night. Yeah. Because, like, not showing up is... it's practically a loss.
It's a death sentence
before you even step out there, right? Yeah. But you know what I will say, and this is why I'm so confused, because I don't want to lean either which way. So please, everyone in the comments, relax. Like, take your hands off the keyboard for half a second.
Put your pitchforks down.
Okay, I'm not going. Like I said, I don't know either guy, so I'm not really going. I've mentioned it before in other episodes. I'm very biased, so in this one, I'm truly not going for either one. I'm just in it for the sport. All right.
Yep.
Leon looked like I thought the level that he was before he beat Usman that second time. Mm-hmm. That's the Leon I thought I saw, like the one that fought Nate Diaz.
Right.
You know, good but hittable, especially down the pipe. You know what I mean? But then Leon came out, and they do say winning the belt changes you, makes you better. And Leon came out in that second Usman fight and looked sensational. And then he came out again against Colby, cemented that. And I thought, okay, Leon's evolved. He's taken it to another level. This is champion Leon. Okay. Yeah. Then Belal comes in and we see champion Belal.
Yeah.
And Leon, champion Leon wasn't there. Okay, this was pre-champion Leon. Am I making sense?
No, do you know what Leon we saw? We saw the Leon in that first Usman fight, or technically the second Usman fight, right? The night that he won the championship. He won obviously with the headshot dead in the 5th round, but prior to that, he was losing convincingly. It felt like that same version.
Taken down.
Absolutely. And I said this in the moment in the 5th round. He's going to obviously have to knock Belal out, but I just don't see that happening. Though I didn't see that happening in this Usman fight when he ended up doing that. So there was every chance that could have happened, but whether he didn't show up or he was outclassed. So I think it's all of the above. But I think what I want to emphasize again, you cannot take away from Belal's performance. It was impressive. He shut the haters up. He proved the doubters wrong. I predicted that Leon would win. You did. A lot of other people did. He was the heavy favorite heading into that fight, Leon Edwards. And Belal proved everyone wrong. And he did exactly what he said he was going to do. You have to appreciate that hugely.
Yep. And like, oh man, I lost my train of thought. I will say, like, this is just my observations. Maybe we see Leon. Maybe Leon was lethargic. I know better than anybody else. There's a lot of moving parts into a fight.
Sure.
Okay, so maybe he comes back better from this. Like, guy was on the mic already saying that he wants to fight by the end of the year. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. That Belal we saw on the weekend, that's going to be a nightmare to fight for a lot of people. You know, I think that level of doggedness and determination to kind of drive forward. But I am very curious to see how he goes against like other very high level guys like Shavkat.
That is
You
the
know what I
fight to
mean?
make. Like who
Ian
would
Gary.
Belal? Oh, yeah, I don't know about Ian Gary. I don't know, but Shavkat, I reckon Shavkat Belal is a great fight.
Yeah, well, you know what? Like, yeah, JDM.
I would love
I
to
reckon
see.
gives him trouble.
So people, like, in my immediate reactions, I would say it's obvious that it should be Belal against Shavkat Rakhmonov. Like, that's the obvious fight to make. In my eyes and a lot of people's eyes, he's the number one contender. Unless you want to put him in another fight, I think you could just put him straight against Belal and no one's going to question it, right? Some people were like, well, what about JDM? I think Jack is injured until next year. He has a pretty bad injury. And if we're talking like who's going to fight Belal next, unfortunately, because of that severe injury, he can't be in the conversation, at least right now. So I would say Belal against Shavkat. And then, yeah, you have Ian Gary, maybe against JDM. You still have Usman, maybe Usman. Like, where does MVP figure into this as well? I know that he just lost against Ian Gary, but because of how exciting he is, because he's a showman, he's probably 2 wins away from being in that conversation seriously. There's a lot of great potential matchups, but for me, it has to be Shavkat against Belal next.
Yep. I don't know. I guess we got to see how Belal gets tested against the other welterweights.
And you know what? To Belal's
one
credit,
thing I didn't.
He was like, I will fight Shavkat. I'll fight anybody. He is, yeah.
Yeah, and you see, that's kind of like the mentality we saw in that fight.
Yeah.
That like nobody believes in me, but I'm going to bash this guy anyway. Like,
For
I'm
sure.
going to take it to him. I'm not afraid of his striking. Like we saw that, and huge props and respect to Belal for that. Like
100%.
He made a fan out of me that fight. I could see his heart on display, and I can respect that completely. I will say that I didn't like is how he ended up getting swept or reversed at the end of every round. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. You can't control the 4 minutes of the round to get swept at the end like that. No, not like that, dude.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like when Leon swept him in 5, then landed that elbow, and there's blood going out. The commentators is talking about it. I was like, no way. Leon throws one elbow and they give him the entire round. Like, but that's just how it looks sometimes.
Dude, it's tricky because, again, like when it comes to scoring factors, damage trumps everything. Damage is number one, right? So when you look at the 5th, Belal did have Leon's back and he controlled him for most of the round. But let's be honest, how much damage did he actually put in? Bilal's ground and pound wasn't that damaging. It wasn't that significant. And he never really looked, in my opinion, he never looked close to getting a submission of any kind. He just completely controlled and dominated Leon. So in terms of damage in that 5th round, I understand why you would give the last one to Leon, simply because of how brutal those elbows were, because he did more with the position. You know what I mean?
I feel like that position, that scenario falls in the gaps a little bit.
Okay,
like,
that's fair.
Yeah, like where we gotta listen to Bobby and go to 10-minute rounds, sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
It's I don't know. I don't know how to score it well. I don't know how you'd score that. Like getting held down in front of your friends, family for 4.5 minutes, only to land one elbow before closing time. It doesn't sit well with me. I understand. I like the idea of scoring damage as well, but. Like I said,
I understand why you say that, because you know where my head first went when I was looking at the discussions about the scoring in that round was your fight against Costa, the first round, right? You were winning convincingly in the first round, and then he had the high head kick, and then most people gave it to him.
Yeah,
and I disagree with that. You disagree with that. So it's one of those weird times where I don't know. It could go either way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So congratulations, Belal Muhammad, man.
Yeah.
Like,
and in terms of Leon, I would like to see him fight by the end of the year. If JDM is ready, great. Maybe Ian Gary, maybe MVP. I would actually like to see Leon Edwards against MVP. I think that would actually be a very exciting fight.
I don't think that's a great fight for Leon, but
yeah, probably not. But he's got to fight someone. It's either Ian or it's MVP if JDM can't go.
Has Leon fought? What's his name? The grappler dude, Gilbert Burns. He hasn't, eh?
I don't think so.
Because I feel like that would be a bad fight for him as well.
No, I wouldn't put Leon against another wrestler, grappler. You know what I mean? Let's see. I can't remember if he's fought Gilbert. I don't think he has. No, he hasn't.
You know what? Like Leon versus JDM. That's a mad fight, and that gets JDM to a title shot.
If
sure.
JDM is ready, this is the
100.
problem. I haven't seen any news because JDM, I think they wanted him to fight in Perth.
I could see them holding Leon back for Sydney next year.
Maybe.
You know, I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know because I don't know. But yeah. Congratulations to Belal Muhammad, new welterweight champ of the world.